Good afternoon and welcome to Hillsborough College as we get ready for the start of what's going to be a doubleheader of basketball. I am Brandon Scott, and I am joined, as always, by the other co-voice of the Hillsborough Hawk sports team, Mr. Ben Tilley. Welcome back from the break, number one. Glad to be sitting with you. What are you thinking about tonight, knowing that we got two games back-to-back, starting with the Lady Hawks and then the other Hawks coming in at 7 o'clock later tonight?
Man, Brandon, I am so glad to finally be back here in the Dale Mabry Gymnasium doing one of these games. I'll tell you what, Christmas break went really well. I enjoyed the month and 3 days off that we had. What about you? How did you spend your break?
I did a lot of just kind of traveling, seeing family, getting in, but I'm going to be honest, as cold as it's been down here in Tampa and in the Bay Area, tonight I'm sweating in the chair over here because we're looking at a Lady Hawks team that since the new year, 2026 started, they're running 3-3 and even 500 in their games since we came back from the break.
Yeah, they have had a pretty good stretch. When we did that last game against Trinity College, they won that game. Then they went on a 4-game road stretch. They went 2-2 in that stretch. A little mediocre. They averaged 64.3 points per game in that stretch, so which is lower than their season average right now at 69.7. So you kind of look at these two teams that we've got going on here tonight with the Lady Hawks and now the Saints for Santa Fe College.
Right.
Just got to kind of look at what they're going to have to do for either of these teams to come out on top. Offense is going to be key. We've got to be able to get that flow of the game. Remember we talked about that last time? We've got to be able to have that flow of the game for both sides. Defensively, we're going to have to see if they're going to be in man or zone. That'll be something we're going to keep an eye on right when we kick off here very soon.
If they were keeping up, I imagine you're going to see a lot of that shifting defense because the Hawks have also been known to put multiple coverage on one person, cutting off that one player, and then deep in the infield. And with just over 30 seconds getting ready for tip-off, I think it's going to be interesting to watch how the Hawks coming off of this 3-3 break that they're running. It's the second home game of 2026. Mm-hmm. They want to get up to that point. But now, when you look at Santa Fe College and the Saints, they're having a little bit of tougher time since the break has started coming back in 2026.
Yeah, they have really been struggling so far this season, a record of 3-10 overall. You just kind of look, they're on a 4-game losing streak as well right now. So could they, come out here and really put on a showing and trying to, end that 4-game losing streak? Absolutely. But so far from what they have seen this year, hasn't been what they've wanted. And what we've seen from the Lady Hawks has been about the same as what we saw last year. We could say they're a little bit downbeat right now because they're a 9-8, a little bit less than last year at this time. Mm-hmm. So you just have to look at how both teams are going to play tonight. And again, the flow of the game is just going to be crucial, Brandon.
So, like we do every game, we're getting ready for tip-off. Everybody is getting ready to hit the court. Predictions from you. Who's going to be your spotlight player tonight from the Hawks that you're kind of taking a look at and saying, I'm looking for them to kind of steal that spotlight for the night?
Well, I tell you what, we looked last time when we did the game against Trinity College, Miss Nina Green really showing out, a sophomore out of Brownwood, Texas, and Wharton High School just around the corner. We saw her, almost all over the court last time, on defense, on offense. She was running all over the place. She was the key star. So that's who I'm going to be looking for, number 0 out there for the Lady Hawks.
Yeah, and it looks like number 0 is on the court for the start, along with number 4, Miss Danica Ballard, and number 8, now Miss Serene. I believe you were going to help me with that one tonight with number 8.
Serene Rocky.
There we go. And right off the start, getting it down in. And I got to say, Santa Fe, take a look at number 2 as she's squaring up with Miss Nina, trying to keep her to the outside, not letting her push, driving in. And number 10,
Ben.
Miss Brianna Ben, puts up 2 points right there to get us going. Now, see, take a look down inside. You got number 2 for the Saints. Tried to make a push to the inside, got forced all the way to the outside hoop there because the Lady Hawks had 3 people down under the net.
Same thing we saw last time.
Same thing we're seeing last time. Kind of leaving the outside open for shots. They get the rebound and start moving it back. I think that's pretty consistent with kind of what we've been watching with our Lady Hawks.
Yeah, I agree. We've been seeing so far this year, do they play man, do they play zone? You look at the underneath the basket every time they're going to drive, and you just see this cluster of white jerseys. That is just, really keen on trying to keep them from scoring and trying to really just man up and try and not let that basket get in the way.
And it looks like there was just a quick step on the line right there. So we're going to have a inbound coming to Miss Nina Green there, number 0. Now, here's a matchup that I'm really enjoying is Miss Nina up against number 2. When you take a look at the Saints, Miss Loranius Castellon Cruz, and you're watching that pressure right there, she's staying with her up and down the court and pressing her anytime the ball starts coming down to here.
No doubt Santa Fe watched their film. I mean, this is just really a defensive effort right now from Santa Fe. What you just talked about is absolutely what we're seeing. I mean, they're just attacking the inside. They're trying to push down, drive to the basket. Both head coaches really into it and just got to play fluid basketball. That's the name of the game, fluid.
One thing that I am really noticing right now about the Saints is look how composed they are right now. They see that the goal's been cut off. They're watching the man-to-man. They're watching this pressure coming. Miss Nina there with the hand on the ball, kicking it back. When you're watching the Saints performing with this level of composure so early in the game, that's got to send a sign over to the Lady Hawks that they can't get excited now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the biggest things too, Brandon, is early game mentality is just so crucial. If these ladies come out onto the court and they're kind of slackish, they don't really want to, they're kind of lack of energy, lack of confidence, you're going to see that. And you're going to see everything on the court. You're going to see the body language. That's the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. And when you see that, you got to be able to see, how are they going to react? How are they going to try and score that? Just like that basket right there. Taking
it all the way, almost to the shot clock, was our number 8 right there, getting us now going up with a 4-0 lead for the Lady Hawks. You talk about posture. Look at the posture of not only the Lady Hawks, but down on the Saints as they're just moving around and putting this basketball into play. Immediately, we're going right almost into a man, pushing into zone right there, cutting off everybody that's there. Anybody who tries to is picking up a double team or a one-on-one moving in.
You said it last time, Brandon. They like to mix it up. They don't do the same thing every single time. Maybe that cluster underneath the basket's the same, but their coverage scheme is just different every single drive. It really is. It's neat to watch.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to the Saints there as. Make sure that was Miss Nina there going up for 2 on the night, bringing it 6-0. Oh, she's back down on the net again with a little pickoff steal. Let's see, shot from the outside. Now let's see Miss Nina on defense with number 2 as she starts coming across. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Coming in for the second home game of 2026, this is a much more physical than I'm used to seeing out of the Lady Hawks.
Absolutely.
Not as much separation off of when they're playing defense to the offensive side. They're getting up, they're bumping. 3 points for number 2 from the Saints. That was, let me take a look there, Miss Lorianis Cruz there, breaking it to a 6-3 game now, bringing them back in a little bit. So, Ben, in the first 5 minutes, what are you thinking?
Well, I tell you, Brandon, you just absolutely nailed it in that last sentence. That's something they call pressing. When you press both sides of the ball, you're going to notice it, and you're going to see how everybody reacts. If everyone's up on the line and everyone's up on the ball, no one's going to be open. But if they're playing zone and they're playing a little bit further back and they're letting you get those open receivers, then that's going to happen. But what we've seen so far tonight is just press from both teams. Really is good. I think this is going to be a close game.
And I'm going to be completely honest with you. We're 5 minutes in to the first right here. Driving hard under the net. Comes up number 14, Miss Claudia Ordonez Capello fantastic there. We're at a 6-5 game now. Beautiful shot right there for that three going right there. And we're going up and we're going to take our first timeout. So as we're taking this timeout, looks like we're going to get ready to toss it over to our sideline reporter, Miss Madeline. Take it away for us.
Looks like we're back, Brandon.
And I got to admit, going through now that first, 5 minutes and 12 seconds, I'm really impressed with the rate of this game, the rate of the play. I think for me I call myself a fan of sport and basketball. When the game is like this and it's fast-paced and it's physical, that's the kind that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And watching this has just been a real fun experience. And speaking of fun experiences, if you want to come down and watch the Lady Hawks, come down to Dale Mabry, support the local right here, and then also the broadcast club that you and I are a part of, going through our degree path as we're getting this kicked off. All kudos to all of it. And it's just a fun experience down here. Oh, number 2 pressing in. Oh, just off the fingertips. That's what I'm talking about right there. Those simple little mistakes could have been so costly, but the Saints didn't get discouraged on it. They just kept playing it through and took it through.
Chemistry is just huge.
We got the... Right there with the rebound, coming in and bringing it right back. And now they're setting again. Mm-hmm. They're catching that breath. They're keeping that composure.
Look at that press.
They're not trying to force anything that isn't there right now. Looked like a double dribble call right there. I got sucked into the moment.
I know.
There was so much happening right there that I couldn't even call it because it just drew me in so much.
This is going to be one of those highly contested games.
I think so. Almost down to the first 7 minutes, and it's only a 4-point game. But now, look, Lady Hawks taking their time, working the outside. They're taking those shots, which the Saints don't really seem to be wanting to take. And we kind of saw that the last game before the break. Number 2 up and
that was beautiful.
Goes back in for, that was now her second 3 of the evening right there, cutting the lead to 1 at 9-8.
Once again, if we had the ability of replay, oh my gosh, that was a fantastic play. Outsiders just going to throw it over all the cluster in the front and be able to get that basket. That was huge.
And now we've got number 23 driving in. Let me take a look. Miss Jalea Jackson there, putting 2 more on the board, opening the lead back up a little bit. So, Ben, when we're looking at Miss Nina going on, we said it was going to be kind of that competitive matchup between her and number 2, which is surprising to me that we don't have Miss Nina over there on who is essentially the Saints' shooter from the outside. She's cool, she's calm, collected. What do you think it's going to do and take to get Miss Nina over onto that side of the defense?
I think, honestly, Brandon, you have to put her all over the court. I mean, she just goes all over the place when she's running up and down the court here. I think one thing that maybe head coach Chris Springs should think about is putting her in a position where Santa Fe is not going to know where she is. That is just something you've got to think about, because if they don't know where Nina Green is, she'll pop out like a light and there, bingo, and then she'll be down the court coast to coast to score another basket.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was tactical thinking with Mr. Tilley as the Saints put up another 2 right there. But you are absolutely right. One of the easiest things to try to do in that situation, you want to confuse, you want to hide. So when I say tactical thinking, you're using that asset that you would use in the military and putting it to the best use, and you can't always let the enemy know, or your opponent in this case, know what you're trying to reach for.
Right.
Looks like just called foul, getting ready to throw for free throws. Can you see what number that is?
That's 23, Melania Stevenson.
All right.
Yeah, head coach Chris Springs not too thrilled with the play so far. He's right in front of us here, in front of our table. He's been pacing back and forth, making some expressions and saying some words that we can't say on air.
But you know what? That's that coach privilege.
That's the coaching. That's the coaching.
Hard drive down to the inside as number 34 for the Santa Fe, Miss Melania Francis. Now I think that's her first time being called tonight. As she comes in. Oh. In a game like this, tied up, 12 apiece, going in right now, the difference is going to be the outside shooting, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, those 3 points are going to be crucial. Little nugget here about those 3-pointers. The Lady Hawks average 7.8 3-pointers made per game. That's out of 27.5 attempts. That's about 28% made per game. Now, on the other side, on Santa Fe, they average 6.4 3-pointers made per game out of only 22 attempts. They make about 29%. So they're about the same little margin there for both teams when it comes to free throws.
Yeah.
3-pointers, rather.
And as we're taking a look, we're coming into the last 30 seconds of the first here. The adjustments that I'm kind of taking a look at, it's hard to adjust when you have a team that is not afraid to run the shot clock. And both teams tonight have been shown they are not afraid of running that clock to get the play they want.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a big thing too, is when you're able to take your time and go through a drive and go through it, methodically. Now, I say methodically, you're running up and down a basketball court doing things, in a quick manner. But when I say methodically, I mean you're thinking in your head very quickly what you want to do, and your eyes go all over the place when you're looking down the court. And if you see somebody open, ball's more than likely going to go to you.
Oh, for sure. And we're getting back to almost that fluid gameplay, because you're not really seeing the Lady Hawks. They're starting to get a little tired out there, but their substitutions are so smooth. They're coming in, they're getting the breathers that they need when they need to. They're rotating people in and out in order to keep that pressure on. And let's see from the outside coming up as it's coming down. 2 seconds left.
Wow. 12-12 after the first quarter here in the Dale Mabry Gymnasium. And if our sideline reporter, Madeline Rosa, is ready, take it away, Maddie.
Thank you guys so much. So as we can see, this game has been really intense. We're super tied right now, and the Lady Hawks have had 3 wins, 3 losses. They play their best at home, so we see the intensity happening right now. Some of the team players that we need to kind of point out has been number 1 for the Lady Hawks, Sharon. I've seen her out there a lot, and for the opponent team, I've seen a lot of moving around from the players. Lori Annis, Zion McRae, Taylor Hackett, Claudia Ordonez, and Melanie Francis. They've been really putting a really good game out there. Have the Lady Hawks doing their thing, running and paying attention. We also saw the coach making sure that our Lady Hawks were engaged and focusing and paying attention, that they were doing what they needed to do, communicating a little bit more. So back to you guys.
Coming off of that sideline report, I think it's safe to say that all 3 of us are really picking up on the same things. 1, it's a very close matched game. It's going to go in favor of who keeps their endurance the longest. 2, the defenses are not afraid to get physical on either side for those teams. 3, the outside shooting. That's been the biggest difference maker, and even then, it's such a small percentage of a difference between the two teams that I think it's going to be one of the critical things as we get going into the second here.
You nailed it, Brandon. It's going to come down to whoever lasts the longest in this just absolute fight of a game so far. It's going to come down to who can play their absolute best, absolute right time. Is it Nina Green? Is it Sharon Adaraki for Santa Fe? Is it Audrey Hubbard? Is it Zion McCrae? Just what Madeline said over there on the sideline.
Adams, the one that's been locked up and locking horns with Miss Nina Green.
Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be that just performs so well in this game to win it for either side? This is an amazing game so far, Brandon.
And so far, we mentioned earlier when we did the pregame and kind of laid out how we were going to be shaping up tonight. Now, when we take a look at it, this is a gut check game for the Saints. When you're running where you're at, I believe you said they've dropped the last 3 of their games.
The Saints have dropped the last 4.
Saints with the last 4. Now you're away. You're 0-4. You're looking at the future. You're trying to figure out, how do I get people to come to this college to play for me? This is how you do it. You got to have a gut check game. Right now, the most dangerous team on the court. Oh, shot from the outside for 3 there. Looked like number 2, Miss Ariana Vieira there, coming in for 3, busting it to 15-12. But what I'm saying is, if you've got nothing to lose as a team, you're a dangerous team out there on the court because you're going to try those new things to get your luck to turn around in anyway.
I was actually just talking about this, what you had just said. Now, it wasn't about basketball, but I was just talking about this when I played a round of golf yesterday. I just talked about this, and I was saying, how are you going to perform on the course if you're not hitting the ball well? And, of course, you talk about basketball, and it's just almost the same way. I'll get into it in a minute. Maddie, go ahead. We got a sideline report.
Oh, thank you, thank you so much, Ben. Thank you so much, Brandon. So we're in a timeout right now where we have the players kind of being told what they need to do, how their game is supposed to go right now with the coaches. So really intense. We also saw number 23, Milena Stevenson, kind of putting her best foot forward there tonight. So she's a forward. We have a couple of little things for the team, the Santa Fe women's basketball team. They're coming in strong tonight. So we're going to see what's going to happen. But right now we're 17-12. So the Lady Hawks are up. Back to you guys.
Miss Maddie, thank you as always for that sideline report as we get ready to tip it back off. When we're talking about kind of the coaching and the way that these teams are going about it, I got to be completely honest with you. As tight as this game is right now, the coach for the Saints, he's motivating me to be a better broadcaster over here with the way he's just so fired up, and it's carrying to his team. I mean, I remember, I think you had said earlier that he was a former coach at Austin Peay University.
Correct.
Out of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So, Austin Peay University, that's a real good school up there in Tennessee. Well, what do we know a little bit more about his background? 20 years experience and stuff like that.
Yeah, 20 years experience. And in his career, Lowry, he's actually had numerous coaching and leadership honors. He's coached in the NJCAA Division I National Championship Final. He's coached in 4 NCAA tournaments. And he's also coached 30 all-conference players across the SoCon, A10, SEC, and Atlantic Sun. So his background is pretty full. So he brings a ton of experience to Santa Fe.
And when you're talking about those experiences, as much as it's entertaining with the teams on the court, watching the matchup of the coaches, watching how they feed off of each other and how they're trying to get their own teams to change things up. Because we've talked in the past about the record of our coach here with the Lady Hawks. We've talked about how he's gone to championships, and the standard for them is he wants excellence every time they hit the court. Taking a look at this right now, the Saints are very much operating that same way. And it's those little mistakes right there, those little mistimes that are going to make the difference in this.
Yeah, and head coach Chris Springs definitely not thrilled with that one, as far as I'm concerned. But I tell you what, when we look at these two head coaches, I mean, just two beasts in the game here of basketball. Chris Springs for Hillsborough College, just a resume of a lifetime. I mean, this guy is amazing. The way his dynamic, the way he coaches on the court and off the court, as you see right there, it is just amazing to see. He is a true motivator for these Lady Hawks out there. And you look on the other side with head coach David Lowry. I mean, it has just been, he's been almost the same way, Brandon. He's been just yelling across the court, making sure their schemes offensive and defensively are right. And it's just, and it shows with the score. The Lady Hawks have pushed out a little bit in front now, 22-14, but it shows that these two coaches know how to coach the game of basketball.
Looks like foul was called. We're going to be taking it to the free throw line. There we go. I can talk in English, I swear. Looks like we're going to have number 10, Miss Anderson, getting ready.
Ooh.
And so when we're taking a look at like the free throw percentages, what are we looking at kind of difference-wise between the Saints and the Hawks there? Do you have any idea?
I firsthand, I'm looking at it, and I tell you what, I know for a fact that the Lady Hawks practice these free throws day in and day out, because when we get here to set up for pregame, they are practicing those free throws as soon as we get here into the gymnasium. So I know they practice those day in and day out. But also it's a thing of the game that you have to be able to be good at. Those points matter.
Yes.
Those 1-point free throws matter. And you just look at, both sides of the ball right now, Santa Fe and Hillsborough's side. Free throws are going to be, again, a big part in this game. As you see right here, here's one right here. There you go. There's a free throw. Those points are just going to be crucial. And again, they're only worth 1. I wish they were worth 3 or 4 or 6 or 7, but they're only worth 1.
Well, for those of us who were in high school in the 2000s and remember a movie called Fast and Furious, it doesn't matter if it's an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. So those 1-point free throws may not matter too much in like kind of hard trying to keep it in play right there by number 34, Miss Francis there. But like I was saying, inch or a mile, man. 1 point versus 10 points, you're getting that win over into the column that you haven't had for so much that you're chasing this year.
Absolutely.
See, look at that hard play for that rebound to keep it in play, puts it up for another 2, and now you're starting to kind of see the Lady Hawks start to get into their zone. Once they start getting into the zone of taking over the points, they keep the pressure on you so that you're so off kilter, you can't catch your breath to try to get back in the game.
Right.
Because they're going to push you so hard offensively that you're doing everything you can as a coach and a player, adjusting on that fly.
And you nailed it, Brandon. You do stuff on the fly, and you're trying so hard to stop them on the defensive side of the ball. When it comes in 2.6 seconds for your offensive turn, you're out of gas, man. You're just out of gas, and you're just going to have to run up the court again and try and do things on the fly. But when you try so hard defensively, you're risking that opportunity to not play well on the offensive side of the ball, and you've got to be able to play well on both sides of the ball if you want to have a chance to win any game in basketball.
For sure. And I will say, as the Saints started out, I don't want to say they're starting to slow down, but their physicality has increased. they're not moving as fast and trying to run the clock as much because they're starting to feel the pressure of the clock ticking down as we
There it
approach
is.
5 minutes. Again, number 2 on the outside. No one covering her because they were covering zone. I want to see number 0 run up there and try to get in because now Miss Adams for the Saints is up to 9 points, and they're all three-pointers from the outside.
Wow. Yeah, and like you said before, the outside shots it's what's gonna be a contributor to whoever wins this game. Again, the Hawks a little bit out in front now, 26-18. But you said it before, the outside shots are definitely going to be a main contributor to who wins this game.
If they could continue hitting these
Wow.
Let's make that 12. Let's make that 12 on the game, undefended on the outside line.
This is trouble for the Lady Hawks, and they're starting to. Now look.
And now look at the tide.
Santa Fe starting to get well on the offensive side of the ball, and the Lady Hawks are starting to fall apart a little bit. I think Chris Springs here, head coach Chris Springs, maybe needed to take a timeout. He is mad.
I think that one drew a foul up under on that. Ben, we just talked about it, sir. The physicality is still increasing from the Saints. Because in one of those, you want to be careful not to get yourself a foul because you're going to give yourself up more free throws.
Yep.
That the Lady Hawks have shown they're not afraid to do. Okay, here we go. Now we got that matchup. 0 on the outside. Miss Nina lined up with number 2, Miss Adams. Let's see if it stays. Oh, yep. Looks like they're going to try to bring that man coverage over to her. She puts it up again.
Oh my goodness.
That one for 2 now. Mr. Tilley, we have a 3-point game right now.
All of a sudden, the Lady Hawks are up by 12, and now they're up by 3 in a matter of minutes. That's how quick this game can change. And rightfully so, a timeout has been called.
A justly called timeout. So let's take it over to Miss Madeline down there on the sideline. And what her opinion is so far. Miss Maddie, what you got for us?
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you. So I just saw right now the intensity that this game is bringing forward. I saw how our coach benched number 11 and number 2 simultaneously. If you don't perform for coach, you are going to get benched. So I don't know if that's what you saw over there from the other side of the sidelines, but the intensity of this game is building. Obviously, the Santa Fe Saints are finding holes, so they are communicating and making sure that they win tonight because they have had 3 losses.
Back over here, Miss Maddie. Thank you so much for that. And I do want to agree with our sideline correspondent. When you're talking about the coach for the Lady Hawks, we mentioned before there's a standard of excellence. He expects you to go out and to perform, and that's what Miss Maddie saw from over there. You're not getting the blocks that you need. You're not getting the shots that you need. I'll put someone else in, and I would rather give them that shot now.
Yeah, absolutely. You're seeing it, we're seeing it right in front of our eyes, Brandon. Chris Springs, head coach for Hillsborough, not pleased at all, but there's a great shot. Danica Ballard getting that one for the Lady Hawks. But again, you see Chris Springs really engaged with the game. He has not been very thrilled this past couple of drives, but now the Hawks are starting to pull away again. Yeah. Now that the tables are turning.
But I sound like a broken record at this point. You've got to stop number 0 on the outside.
Yep.
From the outside tonight, she's up to 12 points, and then she has another basket in there, so she's 14 of these 23 points.
There's Miss Nina Green that we saw. That's the Nina Green that we saw a couple of weeks ago when we were here doing the broadcast for Trinity against Trinity College.
Look at her on this defense now as she's moving. Look at her eyes as she is locked in. Wow. She's not watching feet. She's going back to basics. She's watching your hips. She's trying to figure out where you're going no matter what your feet say.
You nailed it. Got to go back to basics, fundamentally sound basketball.
And that's how you win. Shot looks like number 12 puts it up right at the shot clock. And Look at the bottom of this pile. Look who's being pulled up.
Nina Green.
She's saying, it's time to step up, Lady Hawks. This is not who we are. This is not how we play. I'm going to remind you what we do out here on this basketball court. Leading by the example, not trying to yell, not trying to cheerlead, just getting out and putting in the grind and the work.
I told you when we were doing our introduction, there's going to be one player from both of these teams that's going to try and keep them in this game. And I told you, Nina Green, who was going to be that player. So far, that's what we've seen, Brandon.
And that's exactly what we've seen, stepping up.
Wow.
Hard pass down inside, working its way around to the outside.
Oh.
Quick turnover at the net, breakaway now. Pass to number 2, makes a fake and puts it up. Rebound, and now we're pressing again. Now, this is where that conditioning, this is where when you're coming in and you're running those suicides and you're running those sprints, you're dying, you're hot, you're tired, but this is why you do it. Because of these types of games that are so close, where even if you slow down a little bit, that gap is going to widen to a point that no matter how hard you run afterwards, you're not going to be able to catch up.
That's right. That's exactly right. You got to be able to, again, we talked about it, fundamentally sound basketball. If you're not doing that and you're getting down, to the bare minimum of what you have to do to even try and stay in this game, it's going to really affect you negatively with your morale out there. It's going to lower your confidence. So you've got to be able to play both sides of the ball. Exactly right.
A hard steal right at the center line there. And inside that group was Miss Nina again, setting them up for a 3-point. And you know what? That was Miss Vieira there, number 2. She was one of the ones that got pulled off the court for just a moment and said, Coach, give me a chance, goes in and drains her second 3 of the night there on the outside.
Freshman guard out of Orlando, St. Cloud High School, Ariana Vieira. I mean, we just, every single one of these players on the Lady Hawks just finds a way to contribute to the game. No matter what it is, they always find a way to contribute. And it's just amazing to see the dynamic, the scheme of this Lady Hawks offense and defense. It's just been amazing to watch so far this season.
The key phrase that I keep coming back to, fluidity. They're not getting, you could have gotten in your head very easily as a 3-3 since the new year, 500 team. Look at these hard presses and hard checks down on the line. That happens because they want to come out and keep earning their spot. You've got young ladies on this team that are freshmen, and you're going to have these sophomores leading this team in their hands going forward. Right now, looks like we got another timeout being called. So, Miss Maddie, with what you're seeing down now, how are you feeling with the game?
Oh, my goodness, guys. I don't know if you're seeing what we're seeing here tonight, but benching number 2, Ariana Vieira and Peyton Flourney earlier really helped them out because they literally scored 3 points each at this game. So let's go back to the game.
Coming back as we're looking at the winding down moment of this timeout, we've got 23 seconds left on the clock. And from where we were not even 2 minutes ago, where it was 26-22, almost a 4-point game, now you look up and it's 41-25. You and I have called every basket that they put in. Where did it come from in that time?
I mean, it's, again, we talk about this probably more often than we should, but offensive bursts, that is where those points came from. Look at Nina Green there. Oh, my.
Number 2 on the outside lines up for the 3, just off. But look, the team didn't freak out. The team didn't do anything crazy. Got the rebound, worked it around, and still comes away with 2 right there under the net for number 8.
Saren Adaraki. And, wow, did you see, I don't know if they counted that, but someone, took a half-court shot there and made it. I looked up for a split second, and it's in the basket. I don't know if it counted.
I'm going to say it did because it's 28, and I was looking down at my notes, getting ready to start for the half. So let's take our next break right now over to Miss Maddie for the halftime report.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Ben. So as you can see, the score right now is 43-28 with the Lady Hawks up. And as I said earlier, seeing those three-pointers coming in, I mean, that's been an intensity of a game tonight. With number 2, Ariana Vieira, she's a freshman from Orlando, Florida, St. Cloud High School. And we also have Peyton Florin, who's also a freshman here. She's from St. Petersburg, Florida, and she went to Clearwater High School. So as I said, when coach benches someone, he benches them and he puts them away from each other so they don't have any talking. So just seeing the intensity and how coach is going to be working and telling them what they need to do out there is really showing out and really having the Lady Hawks where they are right now. So back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that sideline report. All right, Mr. Tilley, it's halftime. I'm out of breath just calling this game right now.
This has been
I don't
amazing.
know how you're feeling sitting here tonight.
I am just hyped. I have, again, this has been a really great game so far. We looked at it from the beginning, and we said, okay, this is going to be a highly contested game. And then the Hawks started to pull away a little bit.
Right.
Then the Saints started coming back, and it started getting really tight there. The Hawks were only up by 3 for a little bit there. Now the Hawks have pulled away again. So, Brandon, what is it going to take for the Saints to come out here in this second half and try and get everything they can to try and win this game and take it back?
If I'm the coach from the Saints at Santa Fe College, I'm forcing my team to shoot more from the outside. The three-pointers, they're there. But out of the 4 three-pointers that have been thrown tonight, they all belong to number 0, Miss Adams. No one else is really shooting from the outside. They're trying to press to the inside. And when you're pressing to that inside so much, you're going to wear yourself out. You're going to get too physical. You've got to work that outside. Even if you take a shot, it's forcing the defense to play harder. You've got to open that up. I think that if even right now at the score of 43-28, you're within if you just start taking more chances. I am not saying that Santa Fe College is playing conservatively, because it's not. It's almost old school ground basketball out here.
Absolutely.
You're bumping, you're pressing. We've seen some dives. We've seen that hard play. That's all well and good, but you got to get your free throws in, and you've got to start getting those three-pointers, at least the attempts, because you're going to have, percentage-wise, at least get something out of it.
Well, I gave the little mini nugget earlier about three-pointers. Again, Hillsborough College averaging 7.8 three-pointers made per game. That's out of 27.5, so around 28% made. Meanwhile, Santa Fe averaging 6.4 three-pointers made per game. That's out of about 22 attempts. That's 29% made. So what we've seen from these two teams kind of equal tonight on three-pointers, but it looks like Santa Fe so far in this game has been a little bit more advanced in their three-pointers. We just, we saw it, during that 4 straight outside three-pointers there from Santa Fe. I mean, that's incredible. But you look at the stats, and then you look at what's happening in the game. Very, very tightly contested at the start. Now Hillsborough College starting to run away with it. Got to be able to try and find that flow.
The other thing that I would point out, as I'm looking kind of here at my run-in sheets and notes, the Hillsborough Lady Hawks distribute the points much more effectively. As going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different players of the Ladies Hawks are contributing either 2 points or free throws, something like that. Now, compared to that to the Saints with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 3 more people that are getting points on the board, because you're trying to not highlight those 5, but they're your ones that you rely on. You've got to start getting some of those other players in there outside of just blocking on the goal. They've got to get their attempts too, because you're going to tie your own hands only getting it around. You've got to distribute, and I think that's another big thing that the Saints are having trouble adjusting to, is how many people are effective scorers while they're coming through with this.
I want to go back to the analogy that I was making just before, Madeline gave her silent report a couple of reports ago. I want to go back to the analogy I was making about golf. I played a round of golf yesterday with some buddies. And, for the first 9 holes, I was not swinging the club very well. The back 9, I found something. I I fixed something. I did something. I don't know what I did, but I fixed it. Basketball's sort of the same way we're seeing here. You're in a slump mid-game. You got to be able to find something to be able to get back into it. And we saw it from Santa Fe in the middle range of that second quarter. They're coming back. They're only down by 3. Now we're seeing the slump start to appear again. Hawks up 43-28 at the half. So they got to get out of that slump, and they got to find something to be able to get back into this game and maybe pull out an upset victory.
So, like you asked me, what's that something? The physicality is on the board.
Yeah.
We're seeing that. The fundamentals. You're not seeing anyone breaking ankles, so to say, with any kind of change in the way their footwork is or anything like that. It's eyes on the hips, it's down low, it's blocking and getting hands on the ball. Not quite a steal, but at least interrupting it to the point that you got to adjust your plan. So with that, what is it that you think is what we got, this is their it? They're motivated, they're fired up, they're disciplined. There's so many little things that you could say you need to kind of fix. But I don't know if it's actually something like a motivational speech in the locker room or something.
I don't think it is, and I think you absolutely nailed it. There are little things throughout this game of basketball that just all interconnect to one. I think the one thing that's going to win it for either of these teams tonight is fundamentally sound basketball. You go back to the basics. You go back to what you learned in whenever they started playing this game. Go back to what you learned. Go back to what your old coaches taught you. What is that one thing that you're going to have to go back to in order to find the flow of the game again? The fundamentals is key in every sport that you play, but specifically tonight with this highly contested game that we've seen, it's got to be fundamentally sound basketball.
With the fundamentals, what is it that you're seeing that Santa Fe isn't doing or hasn't done? Because they're getting the steals, they're getting the rebounds, and they're digging deep. Same with the Lady Hawks. The Lady Hawks didn't come over to the sideline and kind of begin just getting loud and yelling at each other to motivate each other. The most animated player on this side of the bench was the coach.
Yeah.
Coach was the one that was there. But as soon as they hit the bench, he didn't walk over and, get in their face and try to remotivate them. He just went by and said, you need to play better. You can't do that. You have to play better. And they went out and they did.
And they showed.
Because
exactly.
that is the standard of excellence that we keep going back to. If you're stepping on the court for the Hillsborough Lady Hawks, you are expected not just to be present in the game, but to produce in the game. Is that a different mindset, you would think, kind of looking over at the Santa Fe College Saints side versus the Hawks side? Is that the missing it?
Well, sometimes, Brandon, that's what you have to go back to. You have to just, if you're going to talk to the players during the game, if you're the head coach, you're going to say to them, okay, maybe you're not doing this scheme right. You're not doing this offense right. You're not doing this defense right. You're not in the right place on the court. You're not in man. You're not in zone. But if you just go up straight to them and tell them you're not playing good enough, you've got to be better, I think that message might come across a little bit more clear in the player's mind than it would if you're just saying to them, oh, focus on a specific scheme, focus on a specific coverage, focus on a specific part of the the game, offense, defense. If you just say to them, oh, you're not playing well, you've got to play better, I think that's something that both of these teams could benefit from. And something that may be said, maybe in the locker room, maybe on the court during the game.
And in my much younger years, when I was much better looking and didn't have as much gray in my beard, we would call that the difference between coaching and coddling. Your job as that coach is you have to be able to give hard news in a way that motivates your team to go out and do better. So it's not saying, hey, you're doing great tonight. No, man, you're 0 for 5 from the outside. We need production. If you can't do it, I'll get someone who will, because this is a game of skill, not a game of pat me on the back.
Right.
You and I have talked about this before, that for a lot of these young athletes, they're not always going to remain here at Hillsborough College. They want to go to that next level. They want to maybe get to that Division I school. They maybe want to get to the WNBA. And those types of hard lessons, if they're not taught at this level, they're certainly going to be taught at those upper tiers, because it's no longer just school pride. It's a paycheck. Towns want championships. Tampa Bay is Champa Bay for a reason.
Yeah.
If you're coming down here to play in the Bay Area, there's an expectation for you to come in and win. Whether you're with the Buccaneers, whether the Lightning, whether it's the Lady Hawks, you are expected to represent Hillsborough County and Tampa in a way that befits a champion. You see it over at University of South Florida. Look at their football season coming through Tampa last season. Really opened a lot of eyes to Hillsborough College and these areas around. Like, we can be great too. And it starts with those hard coaching points. It starts with the fundamentals, drilling it in. If you spend 3 hours a day shooting free throws, you should never miss a free throw in your life. And we're seeing that in effect here. We're seeing less of a focus on the blackboard saying, I want you covering her and you over here. I want to see fundamental basketball. I want to see that what I've taught you is working to the point that we can start winning again.
It reminds me of, I'm going to throw a little job analogy out here for anybody who works in the television production industry. You start here. And as you get better, as you get more experienced, you work your way up the chain. You get promoted. You get a better job.
Right.
And when you're all the way up here, you're thinking, oh, my gosh, I've got it made, right? As my grandpa would say. Shout out Ben Cobb. But again, I go back to that job analogy. When you're playing basketball here, whether it's at the middle school level, the high school level, or the college level, you're working your way up the chain. You're working your way up from middle school, high school, college, maybe pro. You're getting your way up there. How are you doing it? You're getting better. You're getting better at fundamentals. You're getting better in skill. You're getting better with schemes, offense, defense, both sides of the ball. And as an individual player, you're getting better. And that's the analogy that I think about when I talk about this, because you do look at some of these players out there, and they're not going to be here forever. Some of them might go pro, but you can't just assume that. You have to be able to play the game at the level that, just like head coach Chris Springs wants, you got to be able to play at that level of excellence.
So we're 2 minutes getting ready back for tip-off. As we're coming through, I want to point a difference out to you just from what I'm seeing with warm-up. Look at the distance that the Lady Hawks are shooting from, and look at the number of players who are getting the ball on this side, and then shift down and notice where the Saints are working their way through. And right now, we got some motion over on the sideline. Let's see what Miss Maddie has for us going.
So we had the chance to talk to. I had the chance to talk to Ariana Vieira, player number 2 for the Lady Hawks, and Peyton Florney, because they were benched earlier by a coach, and that really did show how they performed after they took that little break. As I said, coach separated them, so that way they wouldn't have any chit chat. But then when they came out and during their break, they were able to talk to each other, and I had a chance to ask them, what their plans were after they were done with school here. And Miss Ariana wants to do criminology, and Miss Peyton wants to do psychology. So it's kind of nice that they work together, and that they did those 3-pointers earlier. And this is the reason why we have the score where we have it now at 43-28 with the Lady Hawks up. So again, if you're interested in this program, we're the radio and television broadcast program in the Ybor City campus. And if you would like to find out more, you should continue to follow us and for more information so that you can become one of us broadcasters here in the Tampa Bay. Back to you guys.
Wow. Maddie, that was awesome.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for that. That is
right
amazing.
There.
Brandon, that's interesting to me. Criminology, number 1. Number 2, awesome basketball player. How about that?
Yeah, you don't hear about that. Well, I guess there's Shaq. He was
Well,
basketball and a cop too, I
yeah.
guess. I mean, so it's not unheard of,
No.
but it's rare. It's
Yeah.
rare. I'll tell you the one that I'm kind of surprised about is the psychology major. If you're a psychology major out here on the court, can you help but analyze everything that happens as we get ready to bring it in for the start of the second half?
I mean, the only thing I can think of is you're able to read the minds of some player out there, and then you know where they're going to go. That's the only thing I can think of psychology-wise. Again, I'm not a psychology major. I'm working on communications, so
I'm a broadcast major.
I'm a broadcaster.
I just call it as I see it.
I don't study the mind.
But that's an interesting, different kind of perspective to think of it at that psychological level, because you're mediating yourself as number 23 puts up the first 2 points of the half here. And right now, just the Lady Hawks Coach Springs, is up and down this sideline as he's working his way through. And you put the ball back into the hands of number 0 there, Miss Adams, for the Saints. And they're back on the board now. And now we're going to start going back and forth. Number 4, Miss Danica, puts up her second 3 of the evening here as we're at 48-30 now. So right now, Mr. Tilley, I don't know if they found it, but they found something.
They found
back
something.
there.
I mean, I was talking in the halftime show. What was the message going to be at halftime in order to get these ladies back on track for Santa Fe? Whatever it was, it's working.
I think so. The shot clock's just under 10 seconds. Coming up on 5 seconds.
Wow.
And what do? Pass to the outside. What did we talk about? Get it in players' hands. Let them start taking the shots. Slow down the pace of the game. At this point, less is more for you. Hard defense set up there by number 22. Gives number 2 the breakaway off of Miss Nina there. Hard defense up under the net there. And it looks like Miss Adams is going to be going to the free throw line for a foul that was drawn up under the net there.
Said it before, these free throws matter. And I'm telling you, we look at it, 48-30 right now, Hawks up by 18. These free throws are these free throws matter. And that's again, it may not seem like it now, but if it ends up being the way that we thought it was going to be at the beginning of the game, that's going to be a crucial miss.
Yes. And at this point, you got to play the rebound hard coming off of this one. And you've got to find a way because, wow.
That's leadership.
She came around, saw that number 8 didn't see the pass coming, snuck in, picked up the pass, kept the ball in play under double coverage, working the outside now, setting up for number 8 to take her shot to the outside.
Incredible play there.
But now, take a look at the Saints in their defensive scheme under the net. It's almost like they adopted the Lady Hawks. They're forcing them to the outside, forcing them to shoot. If you're not making shots, you could close up the gap a lot faster by getting shots on a rebound.
Yeah, we talk about it, defensively. If you're in a hole and if you're not getting the coverage right and if you're not playing the right scheme, those points are going to come at you fast.
Yep, we got a quick little change coming. We've got Miss Florney coming in, and I believe it was Miss Ariana who was checked in and interviewed by Maddie. So they're coming onto the court, getting ready as number 3 puts up her first free throw. That's her first points for the evening. So now we've got Miss Payton on.
Wow.
Hard defense.
Quite impressive there. Quite Miss Bianca Garcia out of Spain.
We've talked about the physicality of what's going on right now. You're up 16 points, and you're still playing physical to that point that either the ball's going to get tapped out or something, but you're not making it through this. Not through this hole right here. Now, one thing I do want to point out, Ben, and I want to get your opinion on this. Look at the gameplay right now.
Yep.
There is the distinct change in the pacing that the Saints are playing down on this side of the net. When they come down on defense, they're physical, they're fast, they're getting every chance they can to try to stop that score. But once they start going over, they're slowing it down. They're putting themselves into different positions, and they're moving the ball around quicker than they were in the first half.
Yeah, looks like Bianca Garcia there got hurt. Excuse me, Blanca Garcia.
Yep, looks like she's coming off.
She's coming off. She's trainer's going to take a look at her. It looked like that maybe the ankle got rolled up there a little bit. But yeah, exactly right. Look at just how when they ooh.
Hard up under the net.
And a travel. But when you look at Santa Fe, when they're down on this side of the court, on the offensive side of the ball, they really are fluid. They are methodical. They are looking for ways to spread the ball around. When it comes to the defense, they are trying to attack the ball any way they can to get their offense some chances.
And take a look down in here. We've got number 2. She was down under the goal there, worked her way to the outside, and pushes it right back to the outside and comes in. This is what the Saints have been needing to do, is cut off that inside path and force them to play them the way that they play other people.
Right.
And it's kind of looking at it from maybe like an MMA perspective right now. Santa Fe College is just really giving these quick jabs to the face, saying, don't forget that I'm right here. Mm-hmm. And we're going in on that one at 2 points, bringing us to 50-32. And you're looking at a Santa Fe team that's playing as if this is 4-4 or 6-6, 6-7. I'm sorry, I apologize. I have a 13-year-old daughter.
I made that remark earlier in the show. I don't know if anybody caught it, but I waited for a reaction and didn't get one, so I'm assuming that no one heard it.
Oh, wow. Just up
what?
under, slip to the outside. It comes off the rim, puts the ball up into play. Still in play up underneath. And look at the Saints' composure. Look at the Saints' composure as number 0 goes up and brings in another 2. 50-34, and you would swear that this game is about to go into overtime the way they're playing with the
That play was so incredible. I mean, it looked from our angle, I had a little blind shot, but it looked like it almost slipped from behind the back of one of the Hillsborough players. It looked like they were about to make the 2-pointer of a lifetime, couldn't convert, so Santa Fe goes down the court and gets those 2 points. Talk about just a turn of the tables here. Score may not reflect it, but they're on their way.
3 up and off the rim there. Number 10 gets the rebound on the outside.
The Hawks are missing their shots right now.
Yep. Are they flustered? Are they playing too quick? And as you take a look, you can see Coach Springs. He's trying to figure out what it is that he's got to do, drawing that foul there. And it looks like we're going to have to take a quick timeout. Miss Maddie, what are you thinking as we go into the first 5 minutes here?
And Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Brandon, for that comment. So as you saw, Miss Blanca Garcia, number 22 from the Santa Fe Saints, got injured earlier, so she's been benched and she's been taken care of by the medic over here. And what a game! So right now we're at 50-34 with the Lady Hawks up. I have to say that they have really shown themselves. Like I don't know what happened in this period, but they went ahead and they are much more intense, paying more attention. They're not going to let the the Santa Fe Saints take over tonight.
Well, well, thank you very much, Madeline, for that awesome report. I want to point something out. Head coach Chris Springs has been really animated, to say the least, in this game. But you just look, if you're looking at him from our viewpoint, Miss Saren Adaraki, sophomore out of Ankara, Turkey. She's not been playing her best tonight, and head coach Chris Springs is making it known because, again, we talked about it earlier. Who is going to be that one player? As we just see right there, who's going to be the one player that steps up? I think Miss Saren Adaraki is going to be the player that steps up late in the game, if need be.
The only thing that I'm picturing right now is if this was like an anime and Coach Springs would be walking around and every time something happens, flames would erupt around him and he'd be like going Super Saiyan because he's so into this game right now, and that's what your players want to see. Imagine you got that lead 52-34. The Saints are doing this hard defense, hard offense, but your coach is silent and just watching. Are you going to play as hard as you can? I know I wouldn't because I'm doing just enough to get by, basically.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. There it is. Santa Fe. Here they come.
Right back on the attack. No slowing down.
Oh!
Little foul up under the net, looks like. All right, so, Mr. Tilley, what are you thinking now? We're 6 minutes in. It's the first half, 52-36. Now the benches are starting to get a little bit louder. You're starting to hear a little bit more cheering coming from the fans in the stands now. Is this kind of what you were looking for coming out of the half?
Yeah, absolutely. I think both teams have come out and, have done their ultimate best in trying to score points.
Mm-hmm.
On the defensive side of the ball, I think both teams are kind of playing a little bit more conservatively, playing a little bit more, zone, just trying to avoid the big play for 3 points. I think that's what both defenses have done so far. Now, more so on Santa Fe's side, they're attacking defensively.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to give their offense the ball, but at the same time, their offense is not scoring the points right now. So I don't want to say it cancels each other out, but it sort of does. But you got to look at what's happening in front of our eyes on the court right now, and I think that's what's happening is both teams are just trying to maybe even do too much. Maybe both teams are trying to do too much and trying to win this game, and things are slowing down a little bit.
When we're taking a look at the way with Miss Taylor putting in her going 1 for 2 on the free throws there, when we're talking about slowing it down, that's a double-edged blade because if you're Santa Fe, you can't keep burning 30 seconds off the shot clock and missing.
Yeah.
And you can't, and if you're Hillsborough, you can't take 30 seconds off in case Santa Fe gets hot because they can start hitting outside threes, and now we're back in a tie game almost as we're seeing this turnover from the Hawks going down.
And a turnover right away back to the Hawks.
I think for tonight, the Lady Hawks is going to be who has the stronger defense for the longest. Who's able to keep their defense the freshest, and who's going to be able to rotate the players in without giving up the clock. Because right now, if I'm looking and I'm looking over at now the Santa Fe Hawks bench, it's a vastly different picture. And then Coach Springs on his feet and moving around. And I think once that starts happening, that's going to influence your players just as much. Like we were saying, I'd rather that coach be too animated winning a game than losing and not giving up, but completely pulling back and trying to figure out where to fix the defensive schemes.
Yeah, losing the confidence. That's the biggest thing.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Is this what was supposed to be a gut check for the Saints? Did it become too much of a gut check that they're losing confidence in their playmaking now?
Could be. It could be. You definitely, you can say, wow.
Because this was not happening in the first half.
Yeah.
That little triple pass to undefended under the net did not happen at all during the first half. It looks like a travel there.
Yeah.
So who was that got that point there? Did you happen to see?
I didn't see it, but once again, you nailed it. It's got to be who substitutes, right? Whoever's substituting in has to fill that player's position. If they're not filling it correctly, you're going to notice it.
Right.
And you're going to get attacked by both sides of the ball because they're going to, with what we saw, what we were talking about before, making things up on the fly as you're running up and down the court, you're going to be able to notice that and you're going to be able to process it. Now, what we've seen throughout this game so far, very fluidity in substitutions. The score may not reflect it for Santa Fe, but they've actually been really fluid in their substitutions tonight.
It may not reflect it coming off of the scoreboard, but it is reflected that we keep saying how physical this game is. We're starting to see a little bit more of the fouls and the free throws coming into play, mainly because instead of trying to just work the outside alone, the Lady Hawks are still driving to the net saying, if you want to run my scheme, I'm going to show you why it doesn't work against me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Taking a look at who can do it better, I think that the Lady Hawks are saying, I'm going to drive to the net no matter how many people you have there. I mean, we're moving back over now here again. Free throws coming back into play. You're starting to see that percentage coming to be that deciding factor coming into here.
Yeah, I mentioned 28%.
Looks like
Lady Hawks.
number 22 is back in.
Yes.
Miss Blanca
Garcia is back
in and taking her second free throw. 0-2 on that one.
Yeah, both teams are about the same in free throws, 28%, 29%. So looking like a pretty even match for the free throws side.
Now we're coming back to the line again. Just got it on the side of the court, and we're heading right back over, getting set into a free throw line. This time now, Miss Peyton Florney is coming on to the line. First one up is in.
Peyton Flanoy, guard. Freshman guard, standing 5'7" out of St. Petersburg, Clearwater High School, where she got her education and basketball knowledge more than likely.
So now we're up to 57, under 2 minutes in the third. So when we're taking a look, Mr. Tilley, at this point, is this the point in the game where if you're the Saints, you say, okay, we're going to completely slow down. I don't want to see any more shots that you don't think you can make. Trust your shots, go there, get back to fundamentals, or do you just go and say, get what you can while you can?
Right now, I would say smooth sailing still. You're still working that methodical process. You're still trying to go back to the fundamentals of the game. Now, just under a minute and a half left to go in this third period. If I'm Santa Fe, if this score remains the same going into the fourth quarter, which I am betting it might. Wow.
That was, oh, Lord. Came down from underneath. A little bit of a windmill layup right there. Cleared the defender all the way over top.
Yeah. But just like I was saying, if you're going into the fourth quarter with the same score, same margin right now, then I would probably say, all right, we've got to press a little bit more. We got to get whatever we can because we don't have much time left. I think that's what the message might be going into the fourth quarter.
And now you're starting to see kind of the Lady Hawks slowing down the pace on their own as Miss Blanca makes a steal and starts pushing down and comes down. Now we got some movement over there. A little bit of movement coming up, and I think that you're starting to feel that pressure in the back of your head. Even though it's a digital clock up there on the scoreboard, you're just hearing the that time is ticking down. And if you're going to start trying to close a 20-point deficit, you got 10 minutes and 30 seconds to make it work on the other side is what you're looking at after these free throws.
Absolutely, yep.
Was this the anticipated way you were expecting the second half to kind of go so far?
For the Hawks, yes. I mean, it's been definitely, same thing we've been seeing all season long. The Hawks they want to play 4 good quarters of basketball. For the Santa Fe Saints, it's been sort of underperforming, more than definitely. Underperforming for the Saints, and they just got to be able to find ways. Again, I don't believe they've scored any points in the last 5 minutes. It's been 39 for most of the quarter.
You've had a couple of the free throws that
got to take a
up.
shot here. Oh!
All right, so we're going down, getting ready for the fourth. We're going to send it over to Miss Madeline and get her opinion and see what she's got. Take it away for us, ma'am.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Brandon. I've been paying attention to what you guys are saying over there. So I caught the 6-7. And I also caught the coach flailing his arms and acting, as if he's in the game, letting these women here, the Lady Hawks, know what they need to do. So as you can see, the score right now is 59-39 with the Lady Hawks up. And if you like what you see, we're all students here at the Ybor City campus for the radio and television broadcast program. So if you'd like to know more, continue to follow us so that you can become a student and be a broadcaster just like us. So again, what we saw here, number 2, number 11, that communication that the Lady Hawks are putting up is what's keeping the score where it's at right now. And we also saw Serene Al-Raki. I'm sorry if I butchered the name, but she's also been running back and forth and doing what she needs to do. But again, when we see the animation of the coach out there, it really shows. So back to you guys.
Final. We've got 10 minutes on the clock, getting ready to close out game number 1 of our doubleheader, which you're going to want to stick around on YouTube when you're watching, because at 7 o'clock we will have the tip-off of the Hillsborough College Hawks men's basketball team taking on Santa Fe College on the men's side as well. So we're really looking forward to having a night full of basketball.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Beautiful score right there now.
Demaya Adams, Santa Fe. She is 5'4", Gainesville out of Hawthorne High School, where she's a freshman.
And as we're looking, we mentioned, getting the ball into other players' hands and trying not to just put the entire load on one person. Let me throw some numbers at you real quick.
Go ahead.
Number 0, Miss Adams, through this half alone, is at 7. The rest of her team has put up 2.
Wow.
She is being twice as productive for her team, shooting from the outside, putting up another 3-point, make that 10 going in. That's what we're trying to talk about. We've got to start getting more movement around.
That fourth quarter message from head coach David Lowry had to have been, there you go. There's Danica Ballard with a nice basket there.
Her second 3 of the half.
That message, get whatever you can now. We're in the fourth quarter. Forget fundamentals. Forget the smooth play. Just get wow. Oh.
A little duck and weave there and ends up. Number 2 is playing as fresh as if this game just started.
Yeah.
She has not let up. She's moving around. She's trying to get open. And now you're starting to see
Wow.
the Lady Hawks are really having to completely try to shut down these inner lanes, and they're trying to shut down, but at the cost of penalty free throws. At some point, we've got to start cleaning up and not giving them the opportunity to take these free throws because they're not doing much percentage-wise, but there's 8 minutes of basketball left. And if that message carries over moving into later in this game, you're going to see kind of a lot of different things happening out there.
There it is.
And now coming back down, number 0, Miss Adams there, really bringing that pressure. And number 2 still working around the outside, cutting off the outside shot lanes.
You know, Brandon, we were just talking about this. Who is going to be coming out and playing their best in this fourth quarter? Now the Saints are only down by 16. It may seem like a lot, but is it going to be a task that's too tall for them? Or is it going to be a task that they can handle? Because, again, we talked about it in the pregame. They're on a 4-game losing streak right now. They are playing their hearts out to try and get out of this thump that they're in. And if we're looking at it, maybe leaning towards one way, midway, we're almost midway through the fourth quarter now. But the Saints are just trying their best to get out of this 4-game losing streak that they've been in, the 4-game hole that they've put themselves in. And got to be honest with you, they're trying. It's not for lack of effort. They're not playing their best basketball that they know they can play.
And here goes number 2, Miss Cruz, beginning a push down the outside. 0 sets up on the outside for a 3-point. Rebound brought back in. The pace now, you got to hit the emergency switch if you're the Saints. If you're the Hawks, you want to keep the pressure on. You want to make them earn every little bit as they're trying to get through the court, whether it's driving to the goal, whether it's driving to the outside. When we're watching it, I don't want to say it's cutthroat, but it is definitely more of a coach take no prisoners. Keep the pressure on. Make them earn whatever they get. And I think that's one of the things that really Coach Springs has instilled down here.
Absolutely.
Here we go back to the free throw line, getting ready to set back up. Looks like number 0, Ms. Adams, will be leading off from the line here. Still chipping away slightly, working those free throws.
I don't know, Brandon, if we have talked about free throw stats.
Not tonight.
In this game.
Miss Adams just went 2 for 2.
Well, Santa Fe, in their free throws, are making 11.4 out of 17.5 attempts per game. Not a bad margin. Not a bad margin. I'm not sure if we've seen the same type of or same level of play tonight with the free throws. I think what we've been seeing more, Brandon, is the three-pointers, the outside shots. That is something that we've been seeing tonight. It's almost like they're taking their shots and risking it for more points instead of trying to, let's say, draw fouls and get free throws. But again, those free throws that they've had still matter. They're not making as much, though, as they would.
We've talked about number 2, Miss Cruz, for Santa Fe, working the outside, working that three-point line, and really just continuing to keep the drive kind of alive for them. But when we look at it right now, I can count one player, Miss Cruz, who has put up all the 3 points for over there on that side. Whereas taking a look at now with the Hawks putting 3 more on the board, as I look at that, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different Hawks who have scored 3 points or more this evening on a toss. That type of percentage there, having more people landing those shots, is going to be a huge difference maker instead of trying to force one player to consistently shoot from the outside.
Well, statistically, when you look at these two teams, Brandon, they're honestly pretty even with field goals, 3 points, and free throws. They're pretty even with how much they're shooting it and how much they're succeeding. The score tonight may not depict that, may not reflect it, with the Saints being down 17 here in the late in the fourth quarter. But statistically, these two teams are pretty even, and I think the level of play that we've seen from both teams is extremely even tonight. Both teams want this.
Yes.
But who is playing at their best right now? That's got to go to the Hawks.
I would agree with that. We're watching the substitutions. We're watching the tag in, tag out. And as the Lady Hawks begin to take their time out, we're going to send it possibly. And as we're working with this timeout here and taking a look at the difference in the coach's mannerisms. Mm-hmm. Look at the different stances. One, you look at the bench, you're up by 20, and you're acting as if you're losing. Mm-hmm. And you're talking to your team about tightening up their defenses, which is what Coach Springs is doing right now.
Yep.
We take a look over at the Santa Fe College side during this timeout, and it's much more of a compose, slow down. Remember, we play a slower game. When Santa Fe plays a slower game, they're more efficient. They're passing the ball around. They're getting more points. I think that's got to be the message there, whereas Coach Springs is saying keep the pressure.
Yeah.
You've got 4.5 minutes to snap us out of 500 and get us back into winning at the start of the new year. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I totally agree with that. You looked at – I hate to point this out, but head coach Chris Springs for Hillsborough College, he had a tablet. Coach Lowry of Santa Fe did not. So when you're able to write stuff down and show players exactly where they're supposed to be in scheme formatting instead of just telling it and having it maybe go one through one ear and out the other.
Right. That
could be beneficial to the players. For Coach Lowry, I didn't see a tablet. All he had was a ruler. Again, you talk about it. It could be beneficial to those players to see exactly where they're supposed to be lined up on the court. But again, everything changes when you get on the court. Just like in all sports, when you get on the field, the pitch in soccer, you always have to go back, just like you said, Brandon, about those fundamentals. Mm-hmm. Where am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to shoot this ball right now? Maybe not. Maybe I go and make a layup. Maybe I go and pass to somebody else. You got to start thinking that way. You got to start thinking fundamentally. How can you be better to help your team succeed?
So I want to do beautiful shot
Ariana Vieira.
Going on with that three, bringing it 73 to 50 now. I want to go back to something you said at the start of the game. Have you noticed where number 0, Nina Green, has been all night? She has not stayed on the outside. She has not stayed in the backcourt area. She has not stayed on the inside. Right now, you're looking at a Santa Fe College that is so confused about where she is. And as soon as they started kind of double teaming her, the ball started going around to everybody so that you forgot about Nina Green under somewhere. And she's getting steals and rebounds against these much taller guards that are up under the net.
Yep. I remember saying it too, thankfully, that when Nina Green gets lost on the court, it's hard to find her, and she'll pop up out of nowhere, steal the ball, and go make a layup or a three-pointer. Mm-hmm. That's how good she is, and that's how she's been playing. She's been all over the court in this game.
And it's very hard to defend against that. It's hard to defend it. You know someone is a player. Someone is capable of putting up those points, as Santa Fe puts up to high pass coming down, driving inside, right off of the rim and back there. Looks like going over now. Hard collision with number 2 from Hillsborough College and number 4 from Santa Fe starting to drive down. We're getting to that street kind of schoolyard basketball now. It's the points are already on the board. You can't change the points, but you're playing for confidence, and I almost say you're playing for ego now.
Yeah.
Just because the points reflect that you're on I don't want to say a losing attempt, you're still trying to show I'm still here, I'm still playing this all the way through, so you better not sleep on me either.
And that's how it should be for both teams too, Brandon. It should be play 4 quarters of basketball. Play 4 quarters of fundamentally sound basketball. If it's not going your way, that's okay. Now for the Saints, they may push a little bit more because they're on a 4-game losing streak and they want to get out of the hole. But again, you've got to go back to just what is working. Go back to what's working and see if you can get points that way. If you're not, then try something else. It's not all going to work. It's not all going to work. It's not all going to be perfect. And that's what's great about sports is that you can be able to adjust and adapt on the fly, just like it should be in basketball on and off the court, on what you're doing and what you're doing offensively and defensively.
Looks like another foul drawn up under the net.
And a free throw.
Number 10 steps up, Miss Brianna Ben, taking a look as she puts up. Now, we take a look through, and from what I've been checking on my notes, it appears that Miss Ben has been having a pretty accurate night from the free throw line. From what we're looking at, I'd have to take a look at how many she's taken, but she has gotten at least 6 points tonight from free throws, lining up 2 at a time and just making it work. And this is where you and I talked earlier, even though it's those single points. You put up 2, you put up those, you start building that gap, inch or a mile. And she just begins widening that inch back out as she puts up another 2 up underneath the net there.
Whoa!
As we're kind of listening in a little bit, you can hear the head coach, Mr. David Lowry, from over there at Santa Fe. He's saying that, hey, I see that you're trying to double team. I see that you're trying to work it, but don't be so close with your block. You're impeding yourself from doing your job. Great piece of advice. Hey, recognize what you're trying, but you can't make yourself inefficient and ineffective by trying to do that.
Yeah, you can't shoot yourself in the foot when you're in basketball. 1, that would hurt, and 2, you're just looking at, what you're doing on the fundamental side of things. If you're making just bad mistakes just by yourself and just doing them to yourself, not just to the players, not just to your teammates, but to yourself.
Right.
That is demoralizing.
Yes. Now, just a quick question for you, since you've been having all my stats and everything tonight. I believe, based on what we've talked about and the things that I've seen, this may be the highest scoring game for the Lady Hawks since the start of the new year.
I think you might be right.
And if it's not, we should be pushing real close to one of their highest scoring games to get them out of this 3-3 kind of 500 slump that they're in right now.
Brandon, you are right. They scored 75 points in the win against Trinity College on January 8th. And it's January 21st now, and they have just scored 77 and counting.
This was something that you and I had talked about because we were here and we called the game where the Lady Hawks went to the Centennial points, put up 100 points. Does that affect you as a player chasing that, or do you put it in your back window and say, this was a great milestone that we hit, but we've got business to attend to?
Oh, put it behind you. It's one game at a time, man. Let's say you score 150 points. You pass it by a huge amount. It's one win. It's one win.
And then
you
it's
don't
back
get
to practice on Monday.
You don't get bonus wins for scoring 100-plus points.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to put it behind you. Yeah, that was a great game. But what can we take away from it? What did we do best in that game? And it looks like this game is just about over.
3 seconds. And there is our buzzer. Ladies and gentlemen, your Lady Hawks go away with the win, moving to 4-3 since the start of the new year with a score of 79-53. And as we're looking at this game, and I know that our sideline correspondent, Miss Maddie, is going to be setting up, hopefully get us a check-in with a coach or one of the players. I'd like to hear Miss Nina Green talk about how she was working inside the court right there.
I would too.
Or number two, if we can get Miss Vieira, because to go from what we were looking at, going from being benched, being told you're not producing, to now all of a sudden you're out there, end of the game, and the only time you come off is because you need that quick little breather, and then you're right back in.
Yeah.
And it looks like we are just about set for our sideline correspondent. So we're going to go ahead and shoot it over to Miss Madeline as she gets ready with her post-game interview.
Yeah. Hi, Nina. I'm Madeline. Nice to meet you. How do you feel tonight that you guys won the game?
We feel good. It was a good win. We just lost a tough game against Eastern, so we really needed that for seeding and everything.
I see that you guys play really good at home. How does that make you feel when you're playing at home tonight, and how you perform tonight as a because you guys have had four wins so far this year, 7 games.
We just feel really comfortable in here. We work really hard in practice and get in it every day, so we're really confident here.
Do you like how Coach is involved in when you guys are playing out there? Because I see him in action all the time. How do you feel about that?
Yes, he's very energetic. There's never a dull moment, and he just keeps us awake during the game, so we really appreciate it.
Would you like to say hi to your family?
Yeah, hi. They're actually here. So.
Oh, my goodness. Would you like to say anything else?
No. Oh, go Hawks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that sideline post-game interview, Madeline. Brandon, that was an awesome performance by the Lady Hawks.
That was one of those that when we talk about it and turning a season around, and when people try to pinpoint where did it turn around, it's going to be right here tonight for the Lady Hawks, because that was as physical a fight as you could probably have on a basketball court to get that win.
Yeah, and you just look at it from a statistical standpoint, right? These two teams were pretty even. These two teams were, going back and forth, in the early part of the game. Then the Lady Hawks started to pull away a little bit. Then they started to, score more points than Santa Fe. It was amazing to watch, because head coach Chris Springs was just going after his own players and saying, "You're not doing your job. You're not doing enough. You've got to be better." And boy, did they ever get better in this game, scoring 79 points, their highest of this new year.
And with that, we're going to encourage all of our viewers, stay with us. Tip-off, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, wherever you're viewing from on YouTube. We will be back prior to that to get you ready for the Hillsborough Hawks men's basketball team taking on Santa Fe. This is Brandon Scott for Mr. Ben Tilley. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for this broadcast. We hope to have you back for the next tip-off. We will see you guys here shortly after this break.